This is problem number 6 from section 7.4. It says if a person with weight W bends at the waist with a straight back, so they're just bending over with a straight back, think about doing like a hamstring stretch, then the force F exerted by the lower back muscles may be approximated using F equals 2.89 W sine theta plus 90 degrees, where theta is the angle between a person's torso, so angle between your stomach, and the horizontal. Approximate the value of theta that will cause a 120-pound person's back muscles to exert a force of 150 pounds. So as you bend over, we're trying to find that angle between your torso and the horizontal, the ground. What's that angle? Now they tell us that the force is 150 pounds. So we got F equals 150. And the weight of the person is 120 pounds. So I think that's probably where we want to start. And we want to say that this formula is 150 equals 2.89 times 120 times sine theta plus 90 degrees. Now I hope you see the sine theta plus 90 degrees. That's a sum and difference formula. We're probably going to be using one of those formulas here. But before I get there, let's just go ahead and start evaluating this stuff. So I'm going to take 289 times the 120. Well, I get 289 times the 120, or 2.89, sorry, not 289, times 120. I get 346.8 sine theta plus 90 degrees. Now I'm going to divide this over, so I'm going to say 150 divided by 346.8. Gives me a decimal, so I'm not going to write the decimal here. I'm going to write the fraction version of this because it's more accurate for the problem. But in the calculator, I'll just leave that decimal version right there. That's not a problem. Okay, the next step would be to use the sum and difference formula for sine. Well, we know sine is sine alpha cosine beta plus cosine alpha sine beta. So let's start writing this. We can write 150 over 346.8 is equal to sine theta cosine 90 plus cosine theta sine 90. All right. Now, we can go ahead and start to evaluate this because I know cosine 90, if we use our unit circle here, what's cosine 90? If I go to 90 degrees, cosine is 0. So this term cancels out. So I can just actually cross that out completely because that's going to give me 0 for cosine 90, which will cancel out the sine theta. And I look at sine 90 here. Sine 90 I know is just 1. So I'm just left with cosine theta. So I really just have 150 over 346.8 equals cosine theta. And I'm looking for theta, so I want to take the cosine inverse of each side. So let's do cosine inverse of 150 over 346.8 equals cosine inverse of cosine theta. Well, that's going to leave you with theta equaling whatever this cosine inverse 150 over 346.8 is. Now, thankfully, we already have that number right there. So let's go ahead and use the inverse. And we can just pick that number out because that was 150 divided by 346. Hit enter. Tells us that we have an angle of 64.37 degrees. That's our angle. Remember, that's the angle from our torso to the ground. Like we've bent over a little bit. We haven't bent over a ton, but that's the angle there. Now, 64.37 degrees. They tell us in the problem they actually want it to be rounded to the nearest degree, so that's 64 degrees for our answer. Hope that makes sense.